Hi everyone, this is Breege back with another cup of reflectivity. And in this week, the letter that came out for discussion is 11. The 11th letter in the Hebrew alphabet is CAF. 11 adds up to 2, so bet is inherent in this code as well, the 11-2 code. And I swear I did not plan this. Last week we talked about Yod, the number 10. So 11, of course, naturally builds on that, and it's a perfect follow-up for Yod and speaks about similar things in some ways. The code 11-2, I call this the Fool on the Hill code. It's that place of healthy detachment, discernment, where you see the bigger picture view of life, and you don't get embroiled anymore in the emotional ups and downs and the whole distractions of life. 11-2 really gives us that beautiful gift of just sitting back and watching the world go by without taking it personally. Also, 11-2 speaks about truth, our own personal truth. So again, similar to the 10-1 code, this week still has us explore and sit with and really discern what our personal truth is. So as much as 10-1, Yod 10, the code 10, Yod is the spark of God. It's the spark, the inspiration from spirit. And with 11, we're now bringing this spark into duality, into polarity of this earthly existence. So there's a manifesting energy here with the 11-2 as well in that sense. There's also a choice point that needs to be made. By the way, that brings me back. I didn't mention the oracle cards I drew this week, again from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck by Colette Baron-Reid, is To the Sea, Loyal Heart, and Fork in the Road, and they tie in beautifully with the theme that I'm sensing here from the 11-2 code this week. So again, tying this in with last week's readings, this really feels like a natural, fluid extension of what we talked about last week. In coming back around to our original vision and intent, what is it that we want to manifest in this world at this time? And how committed are we to really bringing this about? So it's all about making choices over and over. Every moment presents a choice point. Every moment is a fork in the road, or every choice is a fork in the road that we can go down. And sometimes we get ourselves trapped in overthinking, in worrying, in our insecurities, or just losing faith and commitment to our vision, or just not having the follow-through to really see our plans and ideas put into action, to ground them. So the invitation here is once again coming back to our original vision and intention behind our vision. To connect back in with that and to recommit. With the Loyal Heart card, how devoted are you to your own personal truth and your own personal vision? How in love are you with yourself, with your life, and the life you want to create in the world? And what's present for you to examine, and where you might be still tripping over yourself. Tripping over the attitudes and opinions of others? How much are you letting yourself be influenced by someone else's truth and opinion, rather than staying devoted to your own? Or at least staying devoted to really discover your own truth, if you don't know yet quite what that feels like. If there's a fear present here of making the wrong choice, going down the wrong path, 11.2 is very much about going out there and just having a life experience, being willing to make so-called mistakes, to experience a so-called failure. Because at the end of the day, any mistake is only an opportunity for more growth and expansion, more insights. So in that sense, every choice point holds within it a lesson that we can embrace, no matter what the outcome. So there's no right or wrong here. Again, the sense of duality that we sometimes really get trapped in our thinking. And once again, the invitation here is to take a step or two back, to really embody our witness self, the observer of life and of our own thoughts, emotions, choices, and just be that honest, truthful observer. Why did you make this choice? Not making a choice is also a choice. Are you only too willing to let life make those choices for you? To the sea speaks of that. There has to be a certain element of flexibility, of going with the flow, of letting life take us. However, it's easy to give our power away by not making a choice, by not taking the steering wheel, by not putting out that intention and vision into the world and then following that until we feel it is time to redirect. So, ground back in to your vision, your intention, and then step back, get clear, become still and quiet, and let Spirit speak to you in which steps to take, and then commit to that next step. And trust that wherever it will take you, whether it looks like a mistake or a failure or a success, wherever it takes you is the perfect place. Right here, right now. It's the only place. And what can you learn from this place that you find yourself in? Every choice does have a consequence. What are you doing with it? So trust is an element that's needed here as well. If we sit and wait until we are absolutely certain that this next step we're going to take, or this vision that we want to birth, will be a success, we'll probably never get anywhere. So wait for that first impulse that takes you out into the world. Commit to that next step, and then surrender to divine guidance in whichever way that shows up for you. Whether that's your own ideas and thoughts that guide you into the next direction, or whether that's synchronistic events that open doors where you didn't even know there was a door, that lets you bump into the right people at the right time, and so forth. Find that flow and that trust. And always come back to examining your why, your reason behind whatever choices you make. Whether that's the choice to not take a step. What's the reason? Are you afraid? Are you perhaps a little bit over-identified with whatever it is you might be asked to leave behind in order to take this next step? Whether that's a relationship, a job description, an identity. Or are you perhaps all too eager to leave something behind because you don't want to commit, because you don't want to go deeper, because you are afraid of whatever it is? More intimacy, success, someone else's opinion about you. What's your reason behind your choices? Always come back to that, because that's going to be so illuminating. And you might really discover all the subtle ways in which you have been giving your power away. 11.2 can have strong themes of codependency. So examine that. Are you dependent on someone else's viewpoint of you? On someone else's affection? Or whatever it is. And how can you take that step into more independence or interdependence? 11.2 also holds a very strong theme of letting go, surrendering, being willing to release. This could be very challenging. You might have been in a place, maybe for a while or maybe recently, where you feel you've lost a lot. That might be losing loved ones, losing a job, a position, a relationship. Or perhaps you've had to move a lot and constantly uproot and find new ground to settle on. Whatever your lessons, the gift here is, again, this beautiful sense of detachment, letting go of attachments, and finding freedom in that. However, it can also swing a little bit too far the other way, where we use detachment as a way to numb out, to not feel like a part of life, in order to stay safe from the pain of loss and change. So again, come back to your why. And how present can you be? How honest can you be with what you are witnessing and observing? Being the witness does not mean that you're not feeling emotions. Yes, you are, but you're witnessing yourself feeling emotions. You're not identifying with the emotion. The number 2 bet is very sensitive, very emotional, highly empathic. And 11.2s, when they're not balanced, which is a theme for 11.2s, they want to come into balance. But when they are not, it can be an emotional roller coaster, which can be very uncomfortable, of course. So the invitation is to take that philosophical higher point of view, to not make life personal, to not take your emotions personal, to not take anyone else's reactions to you personal, to not take life personal, without shutting down your feelings, because that is a beautiful asset of the 11-2. That beautiful empathic, emotional ability to feel and to be present with someone else's pain, perhaps, when in balance. And when we've learned that life is not personal, and we can let things roll off our backs instead of taking them in and walking on eggshells constantly, vigilant, always watching. When we've come into that kind of grounding, 11-2 really becomes a beautiful ally in becoming a support for others. That rock of support. 11-2s don't judge anymore. When you've come through so many life experiences and you've learned to let go over and over, and you've seen the perfection of it all, the bigger view, the bigger pattern that's showing up, there's no need to judge anymore. And that is a beautiful quality that we can extend towards others. When people feel so safe to share of their pain and of their life experiences with us, and we can just hold space for it, just listen with an open heart and open mind, without the need to judge or to fix anything. There's nothing to fix. And taking this a little higher, when we're really becoming identified more with this witness, the inner observer, the sage or fool on the hill, we really tune into the perfection of anything that's happening. Everything. No matter how uncomfortable or undesirable it turns out to be in the physical world, seen through the eyes of the sage, there's only perfection, only growth opportunities, learning experiences. So take this to heart. To recap once again, what is your vision? Who are you becoming? Who are you wanting to become? And why? And where might you be holding yourself back? Where are your doubts? Where are you perhaps too sensitive and would rather disappear into your own cave so you're not exposed to the harshness of life? Where are you avoiding life experience? Where are you giving your power away to other people's opinions? Or let the choices be made for you and then just feel like you're adrift at sea and nothing ever happens for you in any real sense? Beautiful support is available to us this week. But we need to be clear on where we're headed. To look at the fork in the roads and at the options ahead of us. And to really listen to the path that's calling us the most. And then when you feel that you have your answer, just go for it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't wait too long. Wait until you have that inner impulse to take that next step and then commit to it fully. Just commit to it. And let it take you where it takes you, and keep listening. Keep listening to your own inner guidance and your own inner truth. And then keep course correcting if needed accordingly. And take any lessons along the path as your personal gift and treasure that you have earned. Trust in spirit. Trust in the greater unfolding of it all. So sit with it, take it in. Keep asking the deep questions. And then lean into it. Lean into your experience, whatever it is. Whether it's your old emotions coming up, your insecurities and old beliefs, places where you feel blocked, or whether it is the pure joy of feeling like you're in the flow and life is just unfolding in perfect synchronicity for you. Because this is available to us anytime. Anytime you're fully aligning back in with our higher truth, our higher being. All right, guys, so I will see you next week. Let me know if this was helpful, what else you would like me to include or not include in these readings. After all, they are for you. So everyone, have a wonderful week. Go and make your choices and love them. All the best. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.